Hello ladies and gentlemen, Panzer here, and we're back with another Overwatch lore video. Today's video takes us to the land down under and peels back the mask of one of Overwatch's most generously sized heroes. Yes, that's right, we're taking a look at the hook-wielding big boss himself, Roadhog. In the years following the Omnic crisis, the Australian government was faced with several difficult decisions to make. For a country that had just been ravaged by the fearsome Omnic armies, they needed time to rebuild and recover. It was then that government officials attempted to make peace with the Omnics. With the Omnica Corporation now in ruins, their facilities and resources became ghost towns, serving only as grim reminders of what had befallen the human race. The Omnium, as the manufacturing facilities were collectively known, were given as gifts to the Omnics as an offer of peace. This included the lands surrounding the factories themselves. However, this arrangement pushed many citizens of the Australian outback off lands that they had settled on. Mako Rutledge, later known by the nickname Roadhog, was one of many people who lost their homes. Understandably, they were outraged by this, and Rutledge, along with many others, formed a violent rebellion that became known as the Australian Liberation Front. They set out on a mission to reclaim their lost land and violently attack the Omnium and the robotic population that had settled there. The attacks escalated over time until eventually the rebels hit the Omnium's fusion core. This resulted in a massive explosion that irradiated the outback, turning it into an even more desolate wasteland than it already was. Mako Rutledge, long fighting for the return of his homelands, had turned it into an apocalyptic wasteland, and he was never the same again. Putting on a mask, he set out on the broken highways of the outback. He took to a life of blood and merciless killing, and slowly but surely the last remnants of his humanity began to fade away. Mako was no more. He had become Roadhog. After some time on the road, he eventually met Jamison Fawkes, a man known as the Junkrat. He learned that Junkrat was on the run from gangs, bounty hunters, and just about everyone because of some secrets he'd uncovered while scavenging the ruins of the Omnium. But Junkrat had bigger ambitions than the Outback could handle, and he persuaded Roadhog to be his bodyguard, in exchange for a 50-50 split of any loot they came across. And so the pair embarked on an international crime spree. Wherever they went, chaos and destruction followed. Their motto, no job too big, no score too small. They robbed whatever they could and destroyed anything in their way. From the Bank of Dorado to the crown jewels of the Queen, they stole it all. But they weren't shy about accepting contracts either. At one point, an unnamed executive from Hyde Global, manufacturer of automated robots, offered them a tempting job. He asked the pair to rescue some of their workers being held hostage at a factory by Omnic terrorists. Subtle as ever, the two Aussie junkers blasted their way through the factory roof and blew up the Omnics guarding the building, only to find that they had been set up. The Omnics weren't just any Omnics, but in fact were police, and the supposed hostages were nowhere to be found. Unwilling to be double-crossed so easily, the pair fought their way through the police and back to Hyde Global headquarters, where they promptly exacted their revenge on the executive and brought down the HQ building and the exec with it. As of now, the pair are international criminals wanted by almost every government around the world, and a bounty on their heads of approximately $25 million each. And as for Roadhog, whatever Junkrat comes up with next, you can be sure the one-man apocalypse is sure to follow. But that about wraps up the story for our favourite larger-than-life wastelander. Let me know what you guys think. Is Roadhog a ruthless killer, or might he just have a softer side? And if you were living in the irradiated outback in Overwatch's universe, what sort of wastelander would you be? Let me know what you think down in the comments below, and don't forget to leave a like if you've enjoyed the video. Also subscribe if you're new to the channel. My name is Panzer, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.